here in Calgary. I'm speaking with Brenda and Robert, who just wrote this awesome book, Leaking Money or Stop Leaking Money?
It's leaking money,
it's
but we don't
leaking
want
money.
you. Yeah, we don't want you to do that.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
the book helps you to stop leaking money. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So you
Yeah.
guys want to talk about what inspired you to write the book and what the book's about?
Well, what the book is about is it's about real stories of situations that we've worked through with our clients where we worked with them to figure out how they were actually leaking money in their business. In other words, it was impacting either their top line sales or their expenses, and then the processes that we went through to help them recover from that.
Right, and there's a real tie-in between that and the data portion, because so many businesses have this tremendous investment in their data and their technology and all these pieces of infrastructure that they're not using, they're not leveraging. And it's not a technical problem, but it's often a technical solution in their minds. And they continue to leak and leak and leak money, opportunity, especially opportunities, lose customers, because they haven't really grappled with what's at core to their problem. And that's kind of why this has been such a great conference so far, is seeing some of those businesses out there and the technologies and the approaches that people are using to stop those data leaks.
Yeah. That's why I was so excited about when I first heard about this conference, is because here we have a whole group of people that understand the importance of data.
Yeah.
I'm constantly, when I work with clients, telling them like they have all this data that they could be gathering and using for future to learn from mistakes and successes of the past, and they just throw it away and they don't keep it. But it's so important. I mean, data is, as we write about in the book, is really second only important to cash in your business, right? There's so much that you can learn from your business if you are tracking and analyzing your data. It's really very powerful. You just have to make the choice to do it.
So you guys are talking about businesses that invest in their data and their data infrastructure and things like this. So is this something that's only for big business?
Is profit only for big business? Is customer only for big business? No, this is for any company. This is any company who really wants to make full use of what they have to try and create for themselves and for their customers. Because it's not just about the profit to the company. That data, using that information that you have, can give your customers something better than they already have. It gives them an opportunity to make innovations. And we heard today a lot of people talking about how important it is to innovate and the role of the data in the innovation, but also that entrepreneurial spirit, the innovation spirit. That usually comes from smaller companies. They get acquired by the bigger companies often because that spirit has to start with people who have the vision, have the determination, are willing to drive out to do what has to be done to change usually something that's not working out. And it's really hard when we think about innovators around big data. It doesn't have that kind of entrepreneurial up there on the high grounds, Western spirit kind of thing, but it is. It all comes from people who start with that really powerful vision. And they go out and drive it into the organizations, their own, other small businesses, large businesses, governments. A great idea can't be stopped.
So what are some points that you bring up in the book? Can you guys talk about that?
I'd like to talk about a couple that really have to do with data. And I think Brenda touched on the first one, is that the power of your data is second only to cash in the business. In some senses, it's as, if not more powerful, because you can leverage it again and again and again. And if you don't keep reusing that data, then you've missed out on an opportunity. You collect all this stuff, analyze it, make decisions based on it, make choices based on it. The number one cause of business failure is because businesses don't know what they don't know. They make mistakes and they don't see them coming. But that information's already in the data. You have it, you just haven't figured out how to use it. So we talk on several different points in different chapters about these ideas that are right in front of you that you can't see because, we can't see them yet. They're already in the data. And if we don't kind of turn our eyes away from them, we will see them. If we have the tools in place to pull them out of our data, we will see them. And that's a theme that runs through the whole book. I mean, it's business, yes, it's marketing, yes, it's sales, yes, but all those things are functions that are supported by the information you already have or the stuff that you're not collecting that you should be. And it can be really simple. Asking your customers, asking a question.
So,
and just to add to that, I mean, that all makes a lot of sense until you sit down at your desk and you think, well, how do I apply these concepts? And so here's an example, okay? So whether you're a solo entrepreneur or you're part of a larger business, if you're wondering how am I going to get all my work done today, then it's really the gathering of the data associated with what you're trying to do and what you're actually doing. That would be your first step towards solving that problem.
Yeah, because just getting today's work done is not meaningful if today's work wasn't meaningful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things that we're learning in this conference is, the data is the new gold or the new oil that they keep talking about, right?
new oil.
Yes.
The new oil. And, I mean, we see a lot of companies that are applying it, so it's being used, analytics, but more companies can be doing that, correct? I mean, like this is, I mean, although this is picking up steam, this is not, I mean, it's being used, I would consider it mainstream, but it's not really being applied by most businesses and most people. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of room for growth in this.
Right. It really comes
Yes.
down to, I think probably most people have heard the phrase, you have to stop working in your business and work on your business. And taking the time to step away from your business to look at your data and what is the data saying about what you're really doing, what you need to be doing, that is part of working on your business. And so there needs to be a regular cycle time, because depending on what's going on in your business, you can't necessarily do that every day. But what you can do is have a regular cycle time that you schedule for yourself, or your management team, depending on the size of your organization, that you actually sit down and look at, okay, what is it we're doing? What do the numbers say about what we're doing, as opposed to our feelings about, oh, I spend too much time doing that. Because they can be, as we've heard from other speakers in this conference, our perceptions are not necessarily reality. And that's where the data comes in, is that you actually measure and have an objective number associated with what you're doing, so that you can say, okay, well, here's a bunch of stuff that we're doing that we shouldn't be doing, or here's a bunch of things that we're not doing that we need to be doing. And that's how we lead customers, is because we pay them back with inattention, and then they go, hey, I'm going somewhere else.
So, I mean, I've heard that actually a lot this conference, where we're taking the instinct out of it, the gut feeling. Is there a worry then that it'll become too logical and no emotion? I mean, because a business is pretty emotional. I mean, it's up and down. I mean, you get that whole roller coaster of excitement in a business. I mean, if you remove that and it's all just by the numbers, do you lose that?
Let me look at it this way. If you took your car to the mechanic and he said, oh, your car doesn't feel so good today. Okay, that's fine. Now, what else are you going to do for me? And then he goes and he plugs the computer in, and he says, well, the computer says the car doesn't feel well either. I'm like, what, am I, an idiot? Like, seriously, is that the answer you're going to come back to me with? There's numbers, there's data, there's information there. I have to use that to inform what I'm feeling, because at the end of the day, we need that big vision. You can't have that data, you can't use it, you can't make it meaningful unless you have the vision. The vision comes with that emotion, but I need something to inform that. I need to support that. I need to say, I think this is where it is. I'm going to use that to help me get better, faster, more accurate at my gut instinct. Gut instinct doesn't exist. Gut instinct is history built up over time, hundreds of experiences, thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of experiences. They're all fed by data, but we're just internalizing the data up here. We're not using a external system to do it. It's still data. It's just where it happens. So what we're saying is, however smart I am, I'm going to spread that to the organization. I'm going to help everybody in the organization, whether it's one person, 100, 1,000, get smarter because they have access to this.
So in your guys' experience with the clients that you've worked with, by using analytics and really examining the nuts and bolts of the business, so to speak, do you find that companies are becoming more transparent? I mean, we talk about the breakdown of silos.
Well, the way I think about it, it's like driving at night and turning on the headlights. So they get to see, like before they knew there was a problem, they weren't seeing very far in advance. But they really didn't know what the problem was or how to go about solving it.
Right.
And so by pulling the answers to whatever the business issues are, pulling what the data is saying out, then you're able to add illumination. You still need to use, your team and your passion. You still need to bring those to bear on whatever the problem is, but it just means you're more informed on what you decide to do.
Yeah, and from the silo perspective, that same thing happens is if you can see that there's problems that lie beyond your area, but you can help with, and that you need help in return, it already creates that impetus to take away that barrier, that silo.
Perfect. So we're gonna have to go to break. We don't only have so much time.
Okay.
So I just want to thank Brenda and Robert. This is your guys' book. Where can they find you guys and get a copy of your book?
Well, Amazon, obviously, we're up on Amazon, and we're available on our website is leakingmoney.com.
leakingmoney.com. Or our corporate site is iesi.ca.
Okay, and here's the book. You can check it out on Amazon.com, Leaking Money, and the website is leakingmoney.com.
.ca.
.ca.
Or
leakingmoney.com.
There we go. All right.
Join the conversation next year as more cities become data-driven. Become a community partner. Contact us at info@abctech.ca.